Yins, guys. Thank you for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast, where we talk all about them Pittsburgh Pirates and that. My name is Josh. Today is June 11th. Game 2 last night belonged to the Miami Marlins. A 3-2 loss. Mitch Keller again on the mound and a Pirates loss. I mean, I'm looking back, and in games that Mitch Keller pitches, it's been now since May 24th, which is 3 starts, since the Pirates have won a game that he's pitched. And even longer than that, since the one before that was a game that I believe he also got a no decision in. Yeah. April 9th. April 9th, the last time, or the second to last time that the Pirates were able to win a game. And you know what's crazy? His lone win for him, if you care about that, was his very first game of the year. That's kind of the story right now. I guess, you look around. Wait, what is that? That's the sound of all the people complaining about the fact that the Pirates are 3-11 and Mitch Keller starts. We're going to hear all about it when it fits your narrative, but we're not talking about it with Mitch Keller, which it's also a problem that when these two guys get on the mound, the Pirates are not winning the game.
I'm bummed out. Yeah.
Mitch in this game, another quality start for him. 6 innings, 3 runs. That's where the quality start kind of ends. He only had 4 strikeouts in this one. He did give up a 2-run homer, and he gave up 8 hits in this game. He really just didn't look all the way sharp in this one, but that's the thing about a guy like Mitch Keller, not all the way sharp and still able to put together a quality start on the line, 6 innings, the least amount you can get for the quality start, 3 runs the most. And I don't say that to say that he did the bare minimum. Like, that's not the point. I'm just saying if you go 5 innings, you don't get a quality start. So 6 innings is that line, 3 runs is that line. Therefore, he qualifies for a quality start. The reason you have a quality start is because you put your team in position to win. And he's done that. Matter of fact, if I look back at these games, let me see. Do we have, it's not there. Let's check. I'm looking at Baseball Reference. I'm also looking at MLB. It looks like I'm going to have to go through these individually, but we had the quality start today. We had a quality start May 30th. We had a quality start the 24th, the 19th, the 13th, the 7th, every game. Not this game. The 26th, the 15th, the 9th, which was the last one, that St. Louis game that they won. And then the opening game. That's 10 quality starts in 14 games, guys. 10 quality starts in 14 games, and the Pirates are 3-11 when he pitches.
Dang it, Bobby.
I don't know. I don't know how it gets. I mean, I guess it does get worse than that, right? They could have 0. So, and it's not even. It's not just the runs, right? Because if you look back at some of the games that have even been no decisions, like some of them are Pirates scoring 4 runs and still losing. Some of them are 2-1 games or extra inning 1-run games and things like that. They're seemingly, I think, except for maybe the Dodger game, they're usually in the game. For even the no decisions, a 2-1 win in 13, a 5-4 loss in 10, then the Dodger game, which was 8-4. And then, I mean, the other no decision was Milwaukee, which was a 2-1 win. So they're mostly in the game in most of these games and still coming up short outside of a couple games where he gave up 4 or 6 runs like he did last time against Houston and whatever. But it's a problem, and the offense in general is a problem. If you just look at Mitch Keller starts, the Pirates are scoring 2.3 runs per game when he starts. A lot of the same story that you're seeing with Paul Skeens. It continues to be an issue in these games. So, yeah, I guess
This is fine.
I guess that's it. Let's talk about a couple bright spots, and then we'll get into maybe something at the end of the game, a decision that was made because hindsight's 2020. Monday morning quarterback this thing for Donnie Kelly.
It is a good morning there, little man.
I know it is. So Ke'Bryan Hayes hits his second home run of the season, and seemed like Alcantara, if you just look at the numbers, he's not doing good this year, right? And I think that's not a surprise. He's had a rough season. It's been kind of this and that. And it's one of those things where you look back at his last start, he was good. And then you're like, yeah, but he started against the Rockies. And then today you can say he was really good. Yeah, but he started against the Pirates with all the issues that we just covered when Mitch Keller pitches. So it's really hard to tell this guy's a former Cy Young. He absolutely on any given day can have the right stuff, or even any given batter in the game, he can have the right stuff. You know what I mean? Like, just he has the stuff to get out of something. He only gave up 3 hits in this game. He only had 1 walk, and I think that's one of the things that you look at and you say, okay, so he wasn't all that bad, right? 6 strikeouts in 6 innings, so not entirely dominant. His ERA goes down. He didn't give up any runs. ERA goes down to a 7.14, so it makes you feel like, man, the Pirates really stunk this one up. But if you're watching the game, Alcantara is Alcantara. He's still hitting 99 on the paint every once in a while. He got Cruz looking on one of those. So, what are you going to do to that? I feel like there was at least moments in this game where he looked kind of vintage Alcantara, but he's certainly not the same pitcher he was when he won a Cy Young. And so you still, it's just that question that we continue asking over and over with this offense is, was the pitcher good tonight, or is this just a product of what this offense can do every once in a while without just putting anything up? And here's what I'll go to. So Bender had a good inning. Now Bender is the first reliever that came in. He's got a 1.98 ERA on the season, and he had a pretty nothing's easy in the major leagues. So I always want to be careful when I'm talking about things that are easy, right? I want to be extra careful about. But in the 7th inning, he gets Nick Gonzalez to fly out to right field. He gets Adam Frazier to ground out, and then Henry Davis lines out. And it just seemed like that was an opportunity with Gonzalez Frazier coming up that maybe you could have done something. But Bender's been a really good pitcher this year. And so hats off to Anthony Bender for getting through that inning. Then you go to the 8th inning and you're just saying like, okay, if Alcantara wasn't good, then it doesn't matter who they're bringing in. This team's not scoring. They bring in another guy, and here comes Ke'Bryan Hayes, a bomb, actually. That's the thing, a bomb. A home run in all 30 parks. And it was a hanging slider over the middle, and hitters take advantage of mistakes, and when you don't, then that's a sign of like, man, this offense can't do anything. That was a big mistake. We didn't see many of those in this game. So there wasn't opportunities to say you had to hit that. Not many. And he hit it out. IKF grounds out. Then Cruz hits him one out. Now, the Cruz homer was a better pitch, right? The pitch wasn't all that bad on the Cruz home run. It was the 5th pitch of the at-bat. He was down 1-2. It's 97 on the paint inside, which is the pitch. Now, this is a 4-seamer, so it doesn't have a lot of run, but it's the pitch that's been locking Cruz up with 2 strikes. We've seen that a lot lately, right? Cruz seems to be guessing a lot more lately in his at-bats, and so a lot of called 3rd strikes. And if he's guessing, right, what happens is that fastball comes in on him and you're frozen and you can't get the bat off. And you know it immediately. You know it's a strike. You know you couldn't pull the trigger. And that's because you're guessing off speed. In this at-bat, in this specific at-bat in the 8th inning, I think the sequence, well, I can look at it. Hang on. Sequence was slider, changeup, slider. He's down 1-2. He fouls off the slider. Swung and missed at the changeup. Called strike on the first one. So 0-1 and then a ball on the changeup, a swinging strike for strike 2. Fouls off a pitch and fights it off. And then the 4-seam comes in. That typically has been locking him up. And I think that he just made a case. And you saw it earlier in the game. His second at bat, he had a strikeout where the pitch came in. It was a fastball. It was a little bit low. And Cruz got kind of locked up. And he just tried to stick the bat out there last second. And he looked silly. And I think a lot of hitters try not to. I'm not going to say they try not to look silly so they don't do that. They just accept fate. But maybe they don't even get to that point, right? Maybe it's just like, and it's there. And it's over. You only have a split second, which is what happened his second at bat. But the first at bat, he at least tried to get something out there. But was totally fooled. So in this last at bat, you absolutely could have seen the same thing. Third at bat through a different pitcher, but he had to be thinking, they're coming in with the fastball. I've seen it twice this game. Able to get out and get ahead of that. That's a big at bat for me when you talk about Oneil Cruz, because now when he gets down to that spot, he's not looking soft anymore. I'd rather be able to foul off like he did the slider. Slider right at the bottom of the zone for pitch 4 in that at bat and just fouls it off. If he can do that and stay on the fastball, that's actually ideal. Instead, he's guessing off speed, trying to hit a bomb maybe. I don't know, but guessing off speed, and he's been getting locked up on the fastball. This at bat absolutely did not. 107.7 off the bat, knew it immediately, looked at his bench in this kind of almost relief look, right? I mean, it was confident. It was like, yeah, I did that. But it was almost kind of like, I think I just figured something out. At least that's what you hope. I felt like it was a good sign to see him go after that. And obviously for Hayes, he's still getting used to this two-handed swing. There has not been a lot of power. That's only his second home run. And good to see him go to the big part of the field for a home run, 400 plus feet. So what was the distance on that? 413, 102 off the bat, 27-degree launch angle, which is perfect. That's what you want it to be. So after you see that, you get the score back there to 3-2. Kutch flies out. Reynolds strikes out swinging on a good pitch. And that was kind of your, okay, now we got to do it in the 9th. But it's the Miami Marlins. You got, I don't know how to say this guy's name. He came in and was it Fosher or something like that? I forget how they were saying it. Either way, he comes in and you think, all right, we've got Horwitz, we've got Gonzalez, Nicky G's Nicky G's clutch. Get my words together here. Spencer gets hit by a pitch. Nicky G singles to right. They put in Triolo to run for Spencer. Nicky G singles to right. And now you have the situation in the game where we play Monday morning quarterback, where hindsight's 2020, this whole thing. And I want to bring up a point because Donnie Ball has shown that we're going to bunt to move runners up. And I get it. And it works at times. I think that the context of the situation needs to continue to be considered here, because you're asking Adam Frazier, who is a hot bat. And I talked about this live. I had a couple conversations going on the side during the game, and I talked about this. I said, I don't know if I'm having him bunt right here. He's been hot. He's been hitting well. You got a guy on second. I'd much rather give myself an opportunity, or give Adam Frazier rather an opportunity to drive that run in, because following Frazier is Henry Davis and Ke'Bryan Hayes. Now, Hayes just had the home run, and Hayes has been decently clutch this year with runners in scoring position, so we know that that's there, but it is still Ke'Bryan Hayes. He's already got his hit today. You worry about that a little bit. And Henry Davis, who in his last at bat got out and put himself back under 200 and was 0 for 3 in the game. And I just didn't like this. I didn't like this setup to say, let's leave it up to those guys, especially Henry Davis, where let's say Adam Frazier hits into a double play and you got the tying run on third or even first with Davis. That could be a double in the gap because the slug is there, because Davis has the ability to hit the ball out of the park. You still kind of give yourself a chance there with him up, where I understand you get second and third, you get the sac fly, and you can tie the game there. I understand the possibility there, but 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position, by the way, in this game. 2 of those were, well, actually all 3 of them were, or 3 of those were in the 9th inning, because if you count Frazier. Either way, I'm giving Frazier an opportunity there. I'm giving him that chance. Now, I looked this up before I hit record, and I just wanted to point this out. Now, this is as of May 29th for the 2025 season, but I'm looking up run expectancy marks for this year so far. Now, this is league-wide, and I think usually when they do the matrix for run expectancy, it's based on like, I think it's 4 point something runs a game. Now, with that said, it doesn't really matter. Like, we can talk about the percentage, about the run expectancy here, but that's not really the idea. What I want is for us to look at the difference between the two. So it doesn't matter what the actual number is as much as it can when you're just looking at the difference between the two. Runners on first and second with nobody out, your run expectancy is a 1.55, okay? A 1.55. Now, let's bunt them to second and third, where our run expectancy now, with runners on second and third and 1 out, is a 1.41. So we're actually lowering our run expectancy by bunting those guys to second and third and giving up an out. Now, I know that Frazier didn't get the bunt down. I know he grounded out to first, which was essentially a sac bunt, except he gets an at-bat for it. But the thing to look at is this was their plan. Their plan was to lower run expectancy. Now, in both of those situations, you're in the +1. So if you're looking to just tie the game, I understand. But let's say Frazier gets out and runners stay on first and second. Then your run expectancy goes down to 0.96. So if you don't move them, the 141, the 0.96, that's what they're kind of weighing out, is the difference between first and second with 1 out versus second and third with 1 out. Then your run expectancy is a lot greater in those two scenarios. But with second and third and 2 outs, because you already given 1 up, and now Henry Davis is going to fly out, it drops all the way down to 0.67. Where if Frazier hits into a double play and you just have a runner on third, it's 0.32. There's a lot of numbers here. Every time you go to another out, it's obviously going to go lower and lower and lower. So it's hard to tell. You're weighing out which one you'd rather have, and you're saying, are we going to just let this guy bunt? To me, it matters, what are the guys behind him doing versus what he's doing. I think the way Frazier's hitting right now, I'm giving him the chance with nobody out there. You could have put a ball into the outfield and had first and third with a tie game and Henry Davis up with nobody out. So even in that scenario, then you got the infield coming in, which makes it even easier for him to hit a ground ball through the infield as hard as he hits it. And in that case, you probably go on first move to stay out of well, you're not going to get a double play because the infield's in. So you got to let it get through, let him get out. And then you're back to second and third with 1 out in that case, which is still going to, you're going to need Ke'Bryan to come through or IKF to come through. But there's just differences. I mean, obviously that is a perfect scenario when he does get a base hit. when you're looking at the run expectancy, whether you agree or disagree with the bunt, that's what you're weighing out. You're weighing out Adam Frazier up with nobody out and runners on first and second versus Henry Davis up with one out and runners on second and third. And that is that's a 14-point swing, a 0.14 swing to the negative, but first and second with one out drops significantly more than that by over 40 or around 40. So you're weighing those two scenarios, and then you have Henry Davis up with first and second, and makes it even harder. A fly out doesn't score a run in that case, so you understand the bunt. It's just weighing out the difference between letting your guy who's hot swing the bat or moving it forward and getting two guys who are not hot, trying to get those runners in from third, which they can get in to score by getting out, which is the bonus of that. So I could see both ways. For me, I'm letting Adam Frazier score. And for you, why don't you let me know in the comments if you're on Spotify or on YouTube. Let me know in the comments what you would have done or if you were saying beforehand. Because remember, hindsight's 2020. But now when you're thinking about that run expectancy and what that looks like and how far that goes down in certain situations, what do you think Donnie Kelly maybe should have done in that scenario? Plus, I'll know if you've listened all the way through if you did that. So thanks again for listening. I know. We're done here.
Do you want my head to explode?
Thanks for
I hit the button too early. There we go. Thanks again, guys, for listening. As always, let's go Bucs. I forget already who's pitching tomorrow. That's the way I am. Falter, right? Let's get the series. Let's get the series tomorrow. Keep this on a roll here. One loss isn't going to kill us. Losing the series to the Marlins will. Let's go Bucs.
Thanks for listening to the Bridge to Buctober podcast. Subscribing to your platform of choice is the best way to be notified for new episodes. And now, new episodes every weekday. Remember, live shows with my dad and Uncle Jake are Sundays at 9 p.m. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and join them in the live chat every Sunday. Follow them on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Bridge2 Buctober. Clear the deck, cannonball coming, and let's go Bucs.
Yeah, it is a good morning there, little man.